Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. It is John Boy time. I am your host, John Fahey. Joining me, as ever, of course, Skeet Lovers Pizza, codename Hypervert, Michelangelo's David Duchovny, Aaron Joseph Pita.
Guilty as charged.
Drinko's pee-pee, man. Did you do it or not?
No contest.
Guilty as charged.
Fucking no contest. Plead fifth.
Sign confession.
That's me.
To your right, my left, handsome Matt Brousseau, the Frenchman henchman. How are you?
I'm great.
Last time recording live from Chineseville.
Yep, that's true.
Gonna miss.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
I have to.
Chinese bird.
Fuck it, Jack. It's Chineseville.
That's my favorite movie quote of all time.
Yeah.
That and hey, look, it's Moby Dick. no, he always gets me.
I want to say happy birthday to our friend Allison who listens to the program.
Happy birthday.
She's a wonderful, a beautiful woman.
Is that true?
Yeah. I've known
You
her.
believe in gender.
I've known her for years and years, and she's the best. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
And we did listener suggestion last time.
Yeah. Can we really quickly address the tattoo stuff?
Please.
I got a second pass from one James Dillenbeck.
That's exactly right.
Looking really good.
That's for the Michelangelo's David Duchovny tattoo.
That's right.
Which you are soliciting from the listeners.
That's right.
And are going to put in real ink on your body.
That's right. And we're pleading with everybody to please tag David Duchovny on Instagram. Get him involved in some way with the posts. We'll
Twitter, anything.
Anything.
Just,
Instagram, Twitter. That's kind of where he's definitely on Instagram. I don't know about his Twitter, but tag him in the post that we have. We'll post the newest version. And I believe that Dylan Beck said that he's not averse to a collab with Cooper Mulholland.
Yes, that's right.
Milholland.
Yes.
But we're really getting some good stuff right now. I'm really excited.
God.
And Nadav hooked me up with his tattoo artist.
Yes.
Who seems to be pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You got to get it done right.
Yeah, you do. Otherwise,
he showed me some of the. He's got some guy's got a fucking Cupid on the neck.
Oh yeah.
A little baby Hawkeye type of thing.
Yeah, you sent me that. I thought it was a fix of a. It wasn't a fix. It like a tattoo fix. Okay.
Was it a bad tattoo?
No. It looked good, but it said something
good.
like balls underneath on the Instagram caption.
Oh, that guy just says like whatever. He says that it's whatever the thing is not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's funny.
I thought it was a tattoo correcting someone.
Because it's like a leaf or something there. Or
He'll like in the caption. There's like an Asian father and like his kid on his shoulders, and he's like Bill Clinton and Bill Jr.
Oh,
some shit like that. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I guess we'll DM Cooper and James and see if they can collab.
Yeah.
Or if you're listening, just contact each other and you know what's up. You know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We've mentioned it before.
But we really, guys, like, you don't have to subscribe to the Patreon if you don't want to. But do me a favor. Just tag David Duchovny with our dumbass shit.
Please.
It would really mean a lot to me.
Yeah. Profiles, X-Files. I mean, it's it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Yeah, the truth is out there.
I want to believe.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I must.
You can, write it in your Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah, I do want to get him on the show, too. I think it'd be a good interview.
Oh, I think it would be great.
Because, he's like a sex addict and stuff.
Yes.
Those guys are great to talk to.
They are. They're great to have sex with.
Imagine.
Probably. Oh, hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully. Imagine if you're bad at it, like sex addict.
Well, no wonder you're addicted. Gotta keep trying.
Matt, you wanted to tease something for the upcoming Patreon episode. Folks, Patreon, $5 a month, an extra episode per week.
Yeah. Well, I was I want to do a little deeper dive on it before I bring it up, but I figured to save it for Patreon because we talk about gators a lot.
Gators, the gator,
But what if
swamp.
what if the animal danger isn't so much the malicious death, but love?
No.
What if love is the most dangerous thing an animal can do for us?
Well, love is a dagger.
It's a life sentence.
Yeah. And so I'll be talking about that in the next Patreon this weekend. Yeah,
And animals loving you instead of eating you.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's hot.
Oh, God, it's so hot.
It really is hot.
Yeah.
I've always heard love was a battlefield. Now to think that there's fucking gators on that battlefield. Oh, jeez. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Too much.
I don't know. Talk about, gators and...
Man, gator love.
Yeah.
Nagla.
Somebody did say something actually about exactly that.
Namgla.
Yeah.
Very good.
Namgla.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good T-shirt, right?
National American
North American Man Gator Love Association. That's the next shirt.
Yeah. That's yeah.
The
So if you're too embarrassed to wear your
Nambla
piss number 1 shirt, now you can wear your Namgla shirt.
And isn't is the logo for Nambla like a big hand and a little hand holding each other or some shit like that? I could be like,
that's Allstate.
It's no states in the U.S.
You're in good hands.
Like a good neighbor.
Oh, God.
Like a good gator.
You a good gator.
I got a thing from Dodger.
Oh, boy.
And
I get a thing from him all the time.
he I think he had mentioned this to me before, and guys, whenever you do send us stuff, I mean, like, there's like, there is a very good chance like we'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I do, have to scour around for people. There's been a lot of episodes of this show. You know what I mean?
Though I will say there's also a decent chance it may get lost among the things sent to us.
Yes,
Yes,
that's right.
yes.
I have tried keeping a list.
All the
I-
tattoos
I-
and dick pics.
I've failed.
Yeah, exactly. But so he sent me this guy known as Count Dante, and he is responsible for what is like probably the most famous in the heyday comic book ad.
The X-ray specs one?
No, and it wasn't the kick in the sand either.
That's Atlas.
But in that era, it was he would call himself the deadliest man alive.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And he's
cool.
teaching you
the dim mock death
the
punch.
dim mock death, and he like this that was in comic books for like I think like 6 years straight. Like 68 to 74.
Good years.
And it was like the comic book people are looking at their audience and they're going like it's like sand kicked in your face by the bully. Like, do you want to know how to kick somebody's ass?
Yeah, all you have to, anytime you want to know about any sort of population, whether it's comic book readers or game, just check out the ads that they're served. And that will tell you
Sure, yeah.
not necessarily who they are, but who the product thinks you are.
Exactly.
So with X-ray specs, sand kick in the face,
Yeah.
and the kung fu shit.
You're a
It's a
nerd that's never going to get laid and
Who
get your
needs-
ass kicked all the time. Yeah, exactly.
And you're not happy about it.
Yeah, and you're not thrilled about it.
But you're also not going to leave your house
Yes,
because you get it mailed to you.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, you're only fantasizing about it being clobbering time. You're like, oh God, I hope it's not clobbering time. Oh shit. Oh God. But so this guy, he was born in, I believe, February of 1939, and he his father was a doctor. His mother, this is a thing that's bygone. I think in some way the society pages of like the Chicago Tribune, they would be like, here are the rich people.
Right. So-and-so went to a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was
it still exists. I mean, in a way.
in a
but,
way.
Yeah.
but it's
They
moved
play
on to
it-
its own thing.
They
as a-
play it off as like, oh, here's this person at this benefit gala or some
Yeah,
shit. Yeah,
yeah.
The one of the young version of that is like with New York Times wedding announcements.
Yes. Yes.
It's like dick fuck and shit fuck.
Yeah.
How big can become the fuck box?
Yeah. They did a little. They
Hyphenated.
did
Yeah.
a little touch on that in Sopranos.
Yes, right.
Talked about them not getting into the New York Times.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody at the table goes, if they had been a black or a gay couple, they would have been on the front page. It's so fucked up. But so she's in the society thing. His dad also is like, he's on the board of like the bank. Like he's coming from money, for sure. And he
And they're in New York?
no, in Chicago, Chi-town,
So money makes him come.
Windy City, and I think he started going to like a boxing gym, right? And then he got, some, like, I think training from the military, right? He enlisted, yeah, but this is like a peacetime, right? Because this would be like early 60s now.
Peacetime.
Yeah. I mean,
you're after Korea.
before now.
Exactly. So I think they threw a little jujitsu into.
They did.
So some of the hand-to-hand stuff, and so he fell for that like real hard.
Yeah.
And then the thing about that time that's really special too, that I want to just get into in this way too, when we're talking about this, the comic book stuff and things, is that the world at that point is still innocent. They still actually would talk about Orientals. There's a lot of mystery surrounding kung fu.
Yeah.
And it was, it was exploding upward.
Yeah. And westward.
But it was, it was kind of like this unknown thing, and a lot of people did believe that shit about, the death punches and like all that shit, and it had the allure of mystery, the same way that Mondo Carne was showing you all this like made up stuff from the rest of the world, and you could just see it and believe it's all true, even though it's hyped up for you. The world wasn't a village then.
Yeah.
It was not. It was on its way,
Yeah.
but it wasn't there yet. So the reason why martial arts really had this allure to it was that you would see somebody that was good at it, and you go like, "What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then people would be like, "Oh yeah, like that person can kill you like with this, and this."
Yeah. There's a mysticism to it.
There was a mysticism to it.
True.
So very much in a lot of the way that
Perceived mysticism.
yes, or like, I guess fucking. This would be an example of a guy pushing the mysticism.
Of course.
Because those ads, it was like sea monkeys, X-ray space. It was all bullshit.
Yeah.
All bullshit. And this guy was completely full of shit, except for he himself was actually a badass karate guy. And really fucking good. Like somebody said, if he slapped you on the shoulder, like it would fucking really hurt your arm. You know what I mean? Like, one person said he was the most power I ever felt behind anybody, hitting me in martial arts at all. But because, he had this flair for the theatrical, they were also saying like, the handwork and all that stuff was just absolutely like, hypnotizing. Right. And, he just, he went way into, going to like any of the dojos he could. And then the first guy that had, it was the first, I think, dojo started by a white guy, was in Phoenix. And he would go and visit. And he became part of his, like, whole thing, because he was so good at it. And, he basically was like also just like highly charismatic, but you always kind of knew this guy's completely full of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he would talk about he fought with Castro and the Cuban revolutionaries, the IRA later on.
This is a real freedom fighter.
Yeah, everything was, I used to be in underground death matches in China and Thailand where, it was
Kumates and shit.
Yeah. Seriously.
Underground in China, above ground in Thailand.
Yeah.
So everybody would be kind of like, okay, yeah, but also like, the one thing that was, I guess, the people that really kind of seemed to be buying that shit more or a lot of people talk to, and there's a documentary, I think still not finished, by this guy named Floyd Webb out of Chicago. And he was like, at some of, the studios that were doing karate, he would kind of stalk the sides and like look at how everybody was doing. And they were all black kids. And he would go up and talk to them, and they were just like, oh, that's really fucking cool, And they were like, as much as because I'm a kid as I'm black at that time in America. Mm-hmm. And he kind of brought them all into this guy. The guy in Phoenix is Bob Trias's his studio. Trias, maybe? Trias. Yeah. And he rose up really high in that thing, and he started doing basically like a branch of what Bob was doing in Chicago, and they the whole thing was, like I said, it was just exploding and getting bigger and bigger, and a lot of people like in
and Bruce Lee was fucking popping off.
Bruce Lee would have come across their studio at a younger age,
because he was already Bruce Lee had already done Green Hornet by this point. If it's the 60s and 70s, or like the late
early 60s,
early 60s, that Green Hornet was right there.
He came through in the early part.
Yeah.
But so he just, I mean, like he was a really young man, and he started getting a bigger and bigger head because people were drawn to him, and he was really good at martial arts.
Yeah.
But then, he kind of started doing this thing where he was just like,
I was recruited by the Raiden, the god of thunder. We had to pay. It was an Mortal Kombat situation.
It's not just any combat.
He was just like,
okay.
He would do the thing where he was going like no pads and stuff, and like I think it's maybe Floyd he did like a short like preview of the documentary that's still not done. I don't know if it ever will be, but it's like 15 minutes long, and he says like, he's like, the stuff I started showing up to was matches happening where guys would lose teeth and then go looking for them on the floor.
Well, you gotta find them.
Yeah. And like he was like it was like full contact, and other people from karate were going like, this was never meant to be full contact unless necessary.
Right.
Like you're taking the sport out of it, and you're making it
a fight.
Yeah.
You're taking the point out of
right. The point is to not fight unless you have to.
Right. And there's just like, it's so much more of a discipline even than self-defense. Like
yeah.
It's a practice.
Right. And so there's this thing too where he goes and you can tell that a lot of the bullshit is also like seducing everybody, the pickup artist thing, and women definitely played a role in that for sure, and the thing is, like, I always think about these guys, I'm like, can you just like fucking like I love lying. Like, not in my life, but when other people do it and I read about it, I'm like, God, that's great. You know what I mean? But I'm like, can you just narrow it down to a few things?
Yeah.
No, they can't. That's why they are who they are.
Yeah, why do you keep expanding the menu? I guess it's based on who you're talking to at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And again, information didn't travel that fast. So depending on who you're talking to...
I mean, catch me if you can.
But yeah, Floyd had a thing, or he was just talking about like for every truth he found two lies.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. When he went back over this guy's life. Yeah. But because he was really kind, well, not even really kind, but just like purely equal to students of any race, they were like, I mean, they really kind of, like looked up to him a lot. Plus, he's really breaking the bricks. Like, that's not bullshit.
Right.
He's I mean, like, I think somebody said like one time they saw him crack 8 bricks. And
Jack Cherry do that too.
So they were just like, so there's a part of you where you're gonna buy the bullshit a little bit more too, because if you actually watch him fight, you're like, oh fuck, but he got really into the hype machine, and then the rest of the karate community started like kind of like being like, this guy's like fucking going way too far with like, he's kind of giving us a bad name.
It's kind of, I mean, it's not that uncommon, right? Because like Steven Seagal was a legit like number 2 in the world Aikido.
Yeah.
And then he's all of a sudden like, I'm a sheriff and a movie star, and I'm building a compound in Thailand where I can fuck kids.
Yeah.
And and you spray painting on your hair, like what?
I saw a fucking dumbass.
Just stop it. Be Aikido guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's too late.
I saw a dumbass thing from him. Where he goes like, I hope one day I'm just, like thought of as like a fighter, not just like a sex symbol. I'm like, nobody thinks of you as a sex symbol, you dumbest cock on earth.
Well, I mean, he reached a height, and then it just became a series of lies.
Was it even a height?
Well,
He had
number
like
two,
two-
Aikido,
two-
if that's
Under Siege.
And
Who gives a
Under
fuck?
Siege, and then there was one more
but I'm not
before
talking.
that.
I'm talking about the
yeah.
Aikido, and the movies were never that good. He's clearly lying to himself whether any of them were any good.
No.
And then it's just a series of lies compounding each step. On top
he's
of each
banned
other.
from SNL for just sucking as a man.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Like,
one.
Martin Lawrence got banned for an off-color joke. Sinead O'Connor got banned for a picture of the Pope. Steven Seagal, they were just like, let's not have him back. He sucks dick.
Yeah, but that's also the easiest band in the world because he'll never do anything worth being on SNL for anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, it really says something to get placed in this hall of fame of like dramatic actions to get you expelled. It's like, no, he just sucks.
Yeah, because no one liked him. Yeah.
Not doing the best at this.
Yeah.
is the log line.
And but so there was a thing where people were just like noted that he was advanced in so far as like the racial stuff. People in the South Side of Chicago.
Racially, he was cool.
Racially, he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they were like, when he kind of ends up falling out with Bob Trias, it's one of these things where obviously he's got too big a head. I'm sure he's a fucking pain in the ass, and then he's kind of like excommunicated, and then when he's asked about it, they're like, why were you thrown out? And he's like, oh, because I was the only one that would train black students. And then Bob Trice is like, that's not fucking true. He goes like, 40% of my studio is black.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you met all of them.
But a lot of the black guys from Chicago were saying like, oh no, those guys came from his name is John Keehan.
That's his real name?
Yeah.
It's not Robert Dante?
No, Count Dante.
Count Dante.
Yes. So after the falling out,
Count.
yes,
That's his title, is Count.
that's exactly right, Aaron.
This Dracula does karate.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a karate doing Dracula.
So yeah, they had Trias was doing the United States Karate Association, and he was popular. He had like a good thing, but then he would tell people he was in the guerrillas in the jungle in fucking Cuba. It was like
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't let a good thing, let a good thing go, let a good thing.
Let a sleeping dog lie.
Yeah,
so when he's 25 is when he's expelled. That's now 64.
Oh God, he's young.
Yeah, and he said
It's 20.
he said so yeah, and he said it was because of the racism thing. But the people that are interviewed in Floyd Webb's documentary were just like, I do believe that race was probably a thing, and also that there's this young guy that's starting to eclipse you, and egos clashing between two guys. Especially the kind of guys that are going to be really into karate probably need the ego shit.
Well, the guys that want to be fucking karate.
Tough.
The guys that want to be fucking sensei.
Yeah.
But also,
millions of people do that shit all the time, but they don't become fucking
Yeah.
I mean, I think some
ego trips.
How much older are the other teachers or the people that are kicking him out? Because it's like this is Ali time, right?
Did they karate kick him out?
No.
But the younger generation, brash, cocky, not the the first generation who's after the greatest generation. Their parents are all stoic. I saw these people die in the war, and they're like, yeah, I haven't seen any of that. I'm here to have fucking just go and have some great times.
And I think people were eager for the next noble fight.
Yes,
in a way.
With the same thing,
Especially because they grew up kind of spoiled. You know what I mean?
Like we talked about with Ali. They're like, oh, he's not a.
Where are you?
I'm thinking about what you're saying.
Like we talked about with Ali, they wanted a noble champ,
Yeah.
not a guy who spoke.
This guy said he went to Ali's house to challenge him to fight. Like, knocked on his door. They talked to Angelo Dundee, and he's like, I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Of course.
He would put it in his ads. He'd be Muhammad Ali has been challenged.
I showed up at his house.
That's an Ali. Every as Ali was climbing the ranks, he's like, I want Floyd. I want number one. So he's copying the hottest act in town.
Yeah. So he
learned it by watching you.
Yeah.
When he's expelled, it does this thing where he's got a following now, and he starts believing that if you are, there's no such thing as bad press.
Mm-hmm.
If they're talking about you, they're thinking about you. It was almost
Right,
like I think
right.
a thing like he sort of said, but he changes his name to Count Juan Raphael Dante.
Okay, see, I get this guy is trying way too hard. You
says-
don't need four names.
Nothing screams karate master
Yes,
like Count Juan Raphael Dante.
And he starts doing this shit with his facial hair.
We're like flamenco lover.
See, he starts shaving all this bullshit in, like
Tony Stark.
or like
yeah.
Anton LaVey, or
Yeah,
like all this flair. He's actually trying. He's 100% Irish. He's trying to look like a Spaniard, and Dante is not a Spanish name; it's an Italian name.
Yeah.
But he's
yeah.
actually taking it from the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yes.
And Juan Raf, and he's saying that not only were his family refugees fleeing the Spanish Civil War, documented in the papers, Mr. and Mrs. Keehan, not Spanish at all, never said this. And before they were refugees, they were nobility, hence the Count.
Of course, yes.
So
Classic refugee story.
he
refugee nobility.
Was
Classic tale.
Was those stories of his parents in the Chicago Tribune? They're like, the Keehans, Mrs. and Mrs. Keehan went to the ball tonight, and with them was their son, Count
Juan Raphael Dante.
Yeah. And so here's the weird thing too, right? Is that some of these kids they were saying like, we'd be going into town to like, kind of do some like low stakes kind of like scammy stuff, and we'd always see him down around there. And so he gets he's
kind of scammy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What does that mean?
hustling.
Okay.
At that time, they paid you half of what they paid a white man.
Sure, okay,
and they
yeah.
were kids.
Yeah.
It's Chicago.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sure.
It's the most corrupt city in the world. But he was also into that side of things. There was like this thing where,
He was down there on the south side hustling. Not
yeah.
hustling, but like hustling, scamming.
Oh no! But he actually started getting involved with like porno shops and stuff.
Porno?
And so they also saw this side of him too, where they're like, "Oh, you're like a little bit of a pimp sort of thing," and then a little affiliated with some organized crime stuff, but like usually in a way where like he owes the money, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm affiliated with the bank.
Yeah.
I owe the money.
Yeah. Oh, my associate here.
yeah,
I'm affiliated. I owe a lot of money.
yeah.
That's he was mob affiliated, meaning that he owed them money.
Yeah.
No.
It's very funny.
No, but it was a thing where like usually, like other times he'd be running scams with them, but it's
Yeah.
that kid who's like sometimes he breaks into the houses with the bad kids, but occasionally they kick his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where he's kind of
Yeah,
Except he
exactly.
can kick your ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in Chicago, it was in '63 before he got kicked out that he put together the first full contact and mixed martial arts tournament.
No shit.
Yeah, so there was Aikido, fucking jiu-jitsu, all that stuff, and
My friend.
people were kind of like, "Oh, you can't do that either." And when he started doing his own thing, he was just like, I don't want to do all this ceremonial bullshit in karate. He's like, let's just
I just want to beat the fuck out
yeah.
of
He's
you.
like, let's get to the ass whipping, and then they were like, also, yeah, it's not supposed to be used like full bore, and he's like, fuck that too, and
Yeah.
like, so he's like,
I'm a count.
let's skip the bowing and just start whipping each other's asses,
yeah.
But
He started a fight club.
yeah, I mean, kind of. So he talked about is like effectiveness is the word he used.
Yes, of course.
And so then when they kind of like badmouthed him in the media, they all kind of got together and they were like, "This guy's fucking nuts."
What media? The back of comic books?
The karate media.
There would have been karate media emerging.
Got it.
You know, and
Karate Chicago.
it's the great thing about any subculture that emerges is the first thing that happens is they got a magazine. You know, and so they did it, but they did a big piece on him because now.
Was it a hit piece?
I get it. That's very, very nice.
Hi, I'm Aaron.
And he went, you know, once they like went to everybody else and they're like, it's not real karate. It's fucking giving us a bad name, blah, blah, blah. And they go and they talk to him. And he ends it by going, karate is for sissies.
Anybody who doesn't agree with me can
I'm
challenge
the best
me.
at it.
Yeah, but he was just going like, you know, how good can you fuck somebody up?
This Saturday, I'll be on Wabash in Michigan.
He's like, I don't need to call it karate. You know what I mean?
I'll call it whatever I want. I'm a count.
Well, if you're not doing the ceremonial stuff, you're not doing karate then, right?
So
doing karate moves.
But he's, I mean, he's got to think too, you know, coming from Chicago, where he's also telling these kids, like, what has to happen has to be street effective. And I'm sure these kids on the south side of Chicago that are black are going like,
Yeah.
he's not wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't fucking afford a gun.
And you
know?
can't afford to bow.
You don't have time.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I mean, like, in a fight, you can't afford to bow.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, so it was 67. He changes his name to Count Juan Raphael Dante, and the Dante is so great because he's just doing a riff on, you know, Monte Cristo, but it's just not a Spanish name. So like the lies are just already in his name from the get go.
Yeah, immediately as soon as you meet him, you know he's a phony.
Yeah. But you know, there was a thing too where if you're always doing something heightened, it's hard not to believe some of the magic might be real.
Yeah, if you throw enough bullshit out, the tendency is for people, they'll believe some percentage of it. You just keep pitching enough.
Something's going to stick to the wall.
Some of it's got to be true.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then, you know, it's like, you know, he's got the fucking sculpted ass facial hair that looks absurd as fuck. And then he starts wearing like a purple cape, right? And then at one point he gets a lion cub.
Of course. They always, you know, the best stories involve...
There's always a jungle cat.
Yeah.
And he's walking that all over Chicago.
Yes, of course.
All over Chicago. Taking it to mass. Like to get, you know, fucking...
Eat the Jesus.
Yeah, eat the Jesus. And he's like, that cub, everybody's like, that lion cub went all over town with him. All over town.
Yeah, well, if you're a lion cub, wouldn't you bring it everywhere?
Yeah.
It's adorable.
I mean, it's a chick magnet, dude.
Yeah.
It's
For 6 months.
it's definitely a talking point, you know?
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You can't leave that lion there. It's not a lion. It's a giraffe. 28 days later. Tells that joke. But yeah, so yeah, it's Count Dantes, I think, in Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
But he just makes it Dante.
Yeah.
Well, because he probably
Dante's
doesn't.
Inferno.
He also probably doesn't know exactly. He probably read the book and didn't hear what it's.
Well, he's definitely thinking Americans won't fucking know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he probably read the book. He probably didn't hear what it sounded like.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Yeah. But also he's probably going like, it's too close to the book. Because he would steal things.
Of course, he stole that name.
Like karate.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like karate.
Oh,
Yeah.
worse than that. Like, I mean, you know. He stole some shit in the stuff he's in like the stuff he published, right? That's, you know, basically like these bogus pamphlets that he's selling in the back of comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And
When did he start doing that?
that starts around 68. They started appearing.
Okay.
Now I'm going to emphasize the things that are capitalized.
Okay. So now he's gone through this whole transition to be the Count, and now he is selling himself
I'm down
through
for
comic
the Count.
books.
Yeah, I mean, no, but also, I mean, he's still got like his own studios.
Right.
He's still organizing tournaments.
Right. Sure.
And people were like, oh, you know, they were like, oh, there's no way that's going to work. And like, he did. He made like the first mixed martial art tournament. He was just like, you know, let's fucking go here. but he was fucking crazy.
Right.
But he was really good at fucking bullshitting, and he just saw this opportunity. It was like, the wimps getting sand in their eyes always, and he put in this fucking, and I showed it to you guys. We'll put it up on the Instagram, but it's a brilliant looking ad. Like, and it's just Count Dante, deadliest man alive. And it said, yes, this is the deadliest and most terrifying fighting art known to man, and without equal. Its maiming, mutilating, disfiguring, paralyzing, and crippling techniques are known by only a few people in the world. An expert in dim mak could easily kill many judo, karate, kung fu, aikido, and gung fu experts at one time with only one fingertip pressure using his murderous poison hand weapons.
No, not the poison hand.
Instructing you step by step through each move in this manual is none other than Count Dante, the deadliest man who ever lived.
Oh, boy.
Crazy shit. Disfiguring and mutilating and maiming?
Crippling.
Well, with those poison hands. I mean,
And gung fu is kung fu.
Yeah, it's the same
it's the
proper
exact
way to
thing.
say gung fu.
Yeah.
well, have you tried it?
Not.
It's like saying this isn't aluminum, it's aluminium.
Yeah.
Well, then
We're
I
the
know
best
you're
at
British.
recycling aluminum and aluminium. Look us up. That's what that is.
I'm
Yeah.
not just an anesthesiologist. I'm an anesthetist.
Yeah.
Now, that was the Black Dragon Fighting Society that you would sign up for.
Oh.
And the Black Dragon Society was actually a thing.
Whites only. Black dragon. Whites only.
Well, I was going to say, the White Dragon...
Actually, racially, I'm pretty cool. Just kidding.
The White Dragon Society has already been claimed. There's a big issue there.
So yeah, it was like a booklet, called "The World's Deadliest Fighting Secrets."
A booklet.
Available everywhere.
A quote unquote manual. Okay, and it's
Yeah, there was a pamphlet of the deadliest techniques.
Well, I mean, he's gonna sell something, right?
I know, but it's hilarious to think, with the bomb, what's that bomb making Bible, the anarchist
Cookbook, yeah.
right? That's like,
I got in trouble in junior high for having that.
there's some pages there.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
a number of pages.
And this guy's like, hey, you just fucking kill and maim people. Here's 10 pages, you'll figure it out.
Here's some drawings.
Oh no, there's drawings, there's pictures.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
It's great.
It's brilliant.
But the thing is that like it's the dance of death, right? Is like the whole thing he talks about, where it's like
The flamenco?
here's all the moves, right? And it shows that he's doing them like in a row, but like one of them is like ripping out the guy's eyes,
Oh, you got to do that.
like just insane.
Tell him to stay still.
Yeah.
For step one,
Strap him to
ask
the
him to
table.
stay still.
So like really,
him lay down at the table.
you as a kid are like buying like this guy's like fanzine,
Yeah.
which is just like pictures and words of shit he wishes was true that he could do.
Right.
He never ripped out anybody's eyes ever at all. And then another move of like the fucking 57 or whatever is the double thumb gouging of eyes. It's like, bro, anyone can do that.
Well, that leaves
Yeah,
your
you-
balls unprotected. That seems like a very dangerous move.
Yeah, and like also, didn't you rip them out? What are you pushing them in for?
Well, he took him out. He wanted to put him back
Well,
in.
a good man will always leave things.
As he found him.
yeah.
I gotta put these.
But
look what you made me do.
As a quick aside, Black Dragon Society was also a thing in 30s, 40s Japan that was like hyper nationalist, and they had people like very, very few members, and sort of weird secret society, but like they were always kind of in like the halls of government. And then would send spies abroad to like Ethiopia, America.
Cool.
But
Probably pretty tough to blend in on there.
yeah, but it was just like,
Hey, I'm a black dragon. And you guys know that?
they would have guys convert to Islam over there and shit. Like they would have like people like going deep, and obviously the main thing was they wanted to I think stop what at the time was like Russian aggression, and so they would kind of like have organized warlords against like somebody in Manchuria, and like and then but it kind of lasted, and it was only actually outlawed after the Second World War. But it was this weird little secret organization.
Right. They eventually created the.
It's just another thing I found on the way through this shit, but I thought it was interesting. And
Supplanted by Aum Shinrikyo.
Yeah.
And they eventually created Iron Man's nemesis.
The Mandarin is fake Chinese. This is Japanese, but.
Well, they're all men of the Orient to Matt.
As a man, as a veteran of, as a resident, card-carrying resident of Chineseburg,
You know,
he gets a pass. I guess.
it was the 60s. No one knew the difference.
It's. I don't think anybody does still.
Well, we do. On
Not in this.
No.
No, we do. We do.
But so yeah, he's he's got these other flashy things he's doing, where like he would have that thing that like you were kind of talking about like with Ali, like drumming up all this hype, and
Right, for the fights he wasn't having.
yeah. Wait, who wasn't having?
Count Dante, son
Dante
Raphael
wasn't
Dante.
I mean, he was fighting.
I know, but the hype he's building.
For fights that he would never have.
Yeah.
Like, Ali would say, like, oh, I want fucking Frazier or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, he got him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this guy is just,
Oh, and he would say that about the judo champ. He would say that about like a bunch of other people. He'd be like, they've been challenged, and other people would be like, what? When?
That's not how it works.
But also, I mean,
people still do it today.
if you put it in print, it seems like it's kind of a challenge.
Well, it's fun. Yeah. It's fun. It's not like the judo guy is not going to fight someone who doesn't do judo.
Yeah.
So it's not.
I mean, hey,
oh no, he would. I mean, he was starting
Conor
the mixed martial
Conor
arts
McGregor fought Mayweather.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not exactly the same.
No, but I'm saying
the payout for the judo champion fighting Count Dante is a little bit different.
The karate Dracula.
Another thing he did one time was he started saying that he could knock out a bull with one punch.
That's great.
God.
That's fun.
And then he started driving a bull around on a flatbed truck with signs that said, I can knock this bull out with one punch. Come see it at this show.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I like that. I'm a
And
big
then
fan.
you get to the fucking show, and it turns out that he's like, oh no, actually one of my 19-year-old students is going to do it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And so that poor kid is like, ready to go, because this is the thing too. In the
You got to finish that. Does he get gored?
of course I'm going to finish it.
Okay.
But I got an aside.
Okay.
The aside is, at this time too, they talked about one of the things that was particularly predatory in the culture was, the sensei devotion.
Yes.
So-
and it's still kind of.
Yeah.
And so this kid was probably really ready to go. At some point, Dante comes out and he's like, "Oh, the ASPAC is here. I
PETA's
can't
here."
do it. I could, and he could if we wanted to, but we can't.
So we're just going to shoot it right now.
We're just gonna shut it all down.
We're just going to put a bullet in his brain.
And so I don't know if that was like a moneyed thing or whatever, but he's just going like, well, at least everybody's talking about me.
Yeah, he's definitely stealing the money.
I don't know if there was money, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Do you remember, this was a couple of years ago, that Corey Feldman premiered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
They got hacked.
I'm gonna out whoever, the person that fucking raped Corey Haim on the set of Lucas. It's like, well, yeah, everyone knows fucking Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
And he live streaming it, and they're like, we're getting hacked right now. Like as they're about to play it, I'm getting calls from my tech department that we're getting hacked. Like, who?
Yeah, nobody cares. Dude.
Well, it's probably that.
Nobody cares, and nobody is this really do you think people are gonna buy this bullshit?
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess back then people did.
That was like
Or
2
maybe
years
they
ago,
didn't.
right?
No, I mean the fucking.
Oh, back
Dante.
then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I was saying, everybody was much.
Anybody that shows up is more likely to believe it than anybody who doesn't.
Well,
Oh, yeah, sure.
the thing, everybody was a little more innocent then. There was a lot of more people that would believe shit. And then even the people that were a little bit more gristled in the cities, like New York and Chicago, would be like, this is all bullshit, but it's a good show.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you're like, and then if they fucking back out or whatever, then you can just go to the deli the next day and talk about what a fucking fraud they are.
I mean, was it what was the show before he didn't fight the bull? Was it other fighting? Was it?
Well, yeah, it'd be tournaments and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
and the main event is me fucking this bull up.
No, I'm not going to do it. This 19-year-old's going to actually hold on.
But that would be a thing where I don't think enough people are going to go to, say, a mixed martial arts or a cross.
Without the promise of a bull knockout.
Without the promise of, here's how to get you interested in it.
Well, see, that's the thing. And
it's smart.
It's smart. In Karate Kid, in that All Valley tournament, they don't show after he wins the championship. There's actually another 15 minutes to the tournament where a bull comes out and someone fights the bull. They just don't show it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in the documentary, The Karate Kid.
Yeah, the documentary Karate Kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was there to see somebody blow a bull.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't so much a fight as much as
it was a bull show.
Yeah.
But they cut that out of the doc.
Yeah, they did cut that.
I want to take a break before I get into some of the real crazy shit.
Oh no.
Oh god.
But folks, we'll be right back, and we'll return with more Count Dante. And we're back. So, I guess, a guy like this,
Count Juan Raphael Dante?
Count Juan Raphael Dante, a.k.a. John Timothy Keehan.
Well, you can see why he just...
And then the thing is, his buddy was like, I think his buddy's name was Doug Dwyer. He went by the second deadliest man in the world. So when he's doing all the moves in the Dance of Death, it's all happening on his buddy Doug. And
it's like that Boss Rutan self-defense video.
There's still the
best go in the eye.
There's still
find a lamppost, you break the lamppost in half, you stab it in the guy's ears.
Yeah.
Bam,
bam. You find a hot crushed red pepper in the eye, maybe Parmesan. You got a nice pizza eye.
So I did see some video that I actually would like to share with you guys. I don't know if we can get a dongle going.
Oh sure,
but. It's Chicago. So, he's kind of fucking, he's got a little bit.
Oh, does he have the fucking...
He's got a little bit of a fucking...
No. My name is Juan Raphael Dante. Jesus fucking Christ.
He's like, I crack these fucking bricks all fucking day. Jesus Christ, my fucking hand's killing me.
You think I'm a fucking bricklayer or something? Well, actually, I'm fucking a dim mock
they go,
sounds like a noir film.
They go around, they talk to the students and stuff, and...
yeah, I guess he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's training... like a good looking girl, and she's just going like, she's like, I live in a rough neighborhood and like I want to be able to handle myself on the street, So there was a thing where like, but also like his studio I think was like $20 a month, which at the time was pricey for a karate studio. But yeah, that's also a thing too. It's like, oh, well, he was all inclusive, and you're like, well, how much did it cost? You know what I mean?
And what's the all?
Massages if you're a hot chick.
All people's,
Well. So he's in Chicago. He's starting his own camps.
He's got
pretty pricey.
He's got a couple of his own. Yeah. He's got a couple of his own dojos. In this clip, I was saying that they show that, he's got a young lady in there, and
supple.
I didn't say that, but sure.
Nubile.
But yeah, his studio for that time was pricey, which was $20 a month.
Mm-hmm. All access or whatever it was, it all encompassed.
Well, I was saying like it's like all inclusive,
full service,
and
yes, it's full service.
And like that's the thing too. You go like, oh well, was he really like super cool with like black people and women and all that, or do you just like want everybody's $20?
Right.
But I think he was really actually psyched on it. People that trained under him said, for all the flash and all that stuff, like he was really about the fundamentals. When he was teaching you karate, like even though like he wanted to go harder and have like full contact and all that shit, they were like as a person training you karate, it wasn't flashy there,
I think that's very interesting.
It is, yeah. And there's a lot of people that have a really good opinion of him and are very willing to talk about it.
Because the fundamentals are arguably one of the most important parts. And
they're fundamental.
They're quite, exactly, thank you. And the flashiness...
is to get you in the door.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if he's actually teaching good fundamentals, then that is very, arguably the most important thing. So it makes him seem less phony, if that is true.
Yeah.
But he certainly still seems.
There's just a thing there too where you're like, I guess, and this is even still considered part of, like the scam there now is that like if somebody's going there and like they're just not very strong or like whatever, of course everybody gets better at anything with practice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
But there's like almost like this need to like tell people they're doing better than they are maybe. So, there could have been some of that going on, but some students were. They said like at first, and I think it might be because of the way he got into it with jiu-jitsu and stuff, out of the military, because I think he was Marine Reserve, and then later Army, which is also interesting because he did come from affluence, But a lot of the guys that would be hanging around dojos in that time were like cops and stuff. There's a lot of like security or former military, and I wonder if it's because the way it was kind of getting imported into the country.
Word on the street is all these colored kids are taking fucking Taekwondo. We got to get in here and get a jump on the whole thing.
I mean, well, that's the thing too, though, where you go like
Dojo's fueled up.
If he, that's him, doing some good there. If he's at least getting, kids on the south side of Chicago in the same dojo as like white cops, and they're doing something.
They're fucking doing somersaults with each other.
Well, yeah,
You're not so bad, kid.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's no guns involved. Like,
there's no wolves and sheep involved.
But anyway, so this is a 64 interview with Count Dante.
64. Okay, so with 64, this is earlier than
1964.
1964. Yeah, he's this is around when he's excommunicated, and he's got a dojo or two.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he'd be the second. Possibly the second like white guy running a dojo in the country to Bob, who he had to split with.
Okay,
but he develops like kind of a bad boy image.
Chicago this Sunday, and the people here in the Imperial Academy of Fighting Arts are getting ready for it. The man behind the championships is Mr. John Keehan. Well, Mr. Keehan, what's karate
Still John
all about
Keehan,
anyway?
Well, karate is an oriental means of self-defense, which is now used as a sport.
Is it very popular in the United States?
Well, it's very popular, especially here in Chicago, which is about the strongest concentration of karate in this country.
Why? What is the attraction of this kind of thing?
Well, you have all the same aspects that you have in boxing, but it's a lot faster and a lot more effective. The one boy here is Raymond Cooper. He's the national karate champion.
He's the one on the left, huh?
That's correct. Now, the screaming, this is to increase power, to try to frighten your opponent and give added strength to your techniques.
Added strength.
Yes, very effectively.
Yep.
The Marines have been using this in the Army for quite a few years.
Well, how seriously can you injure someone just with your hands or your feet?
Well, you can very easily kill someone if you know how to hit them and where to hit them. This is the whole thing. The trained over the untrained.
Throw this on the YouTube.
As you can see, there are quite a few blows that have been slipped in here, kicks and punches, and you can very definitely see that they could have been extended and caused quite a bit of damage to the
He's really
opponent.
fucking this poor white guy out.
What is breaking bricks and boards with your bare hands and your bare feet? What's that all about?
Well, that is strictly, shall we say, a showmanship type of aspect of karate that shows the power or the strength, that can be contained within the human body.
Oh, it's just terrible.
Could we see some of that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Can we see some of that?
No problem.
Here we have Douglas Dwyer. He's one of my head instructors.
This has nothing
here.
to do with
He's
it.
going to demonstrate the breaking of hard objects, which happens to be, common house face brick.
Is there a trick to this, Doug?
No, there's no real trick to the art itself. It's developed through speed, form, and power. It's like that of an air hammer going into concrete, 90 or 100
Like
pounds
that.
behind the point of it. That's how it's broken by impact.
Does it work every time?
No, it doesn't work every time. You can miss by just a quarter of an inch to a half inch on something that's heavy.
Let's see how it works.
Ow.
Oh, there they went. Excuse Excuse me, miss. What's your name?
Karen Newman.
Just
How did
fucking
you get
this guy
interested in
up.
that?
Well, I went to the World Karate Tournament last year, and it appealed to me. It's a self-defense, and I would work in a rough neighborhood. Seemed the best thing to take up.
You mean they teach you how to defend yourself from muggers, that kind of thing?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Well, how does it work? Could you give us an example?
Surely.
Shirley.
Yeah, right. Not the business. All right, you gotta mug me, Jim.
Oh, the hand movements.
So that's a little taste of where he's kind of
International Karate Championship.
he's just started breaking away from Bob Trias, and he's doing his own thing, and he knows how to kind of work the media.
Yes, that's early. That's early days. There, and I just love how the
Excuse me,
the
miss.
reporters. I mean that especially. Excuse, you're about to fight. Hold on, lady.
Yeah.
But also, just like Aaron pointed out, this whole breaking blocks thing. This is like,
What's that
what is
about?
that? It's just pure garbage we do just for the media. Oh, great! I would love to see
We would
that.
love to see that. Yeah, no shit.
But it is one of those things where like,
Pure showmanship. So,
but I think that was always kind of known to be that way anyway.
Yeah, but it's
it's funny that they bite. It's still like, yeah, this is just to get you in here. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It is.
it is a thing where you're like, the bull punch is, hey, this thing deserves a second look. The same thing, Bruce Lee with hands as registered weapons.
Yes.
It's just like, hey,
sure.
pay attention to this. And of course, eventually, you wouldn't need to because it even outplays, boxing, eventually with mixed martial arts. But, for a while there, they were like struggling to get people in the door, right? So, I don't know if maybe in this whole thing, there's guys calling him out, being like, you're full of shit here. People are coming down on him, being like, the full contact stuff is not cool. You're kind of a fraud. You're kind of a scam artist, So he's got beef with some people at like other dojos and stuff.
Well, it sounds like there's one way to settle this.
Oh, do you want to know what the one way is?
Litigation?
Like gentlemen.
John, in 65, this is before he's the Count, he's still John Keehan. Him and the second deadliest man on earth, Dwyer,
yes.
they get like real hammered. Okay?
In Chicago, you say?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then they decide, let's go fuck up that dojo.
Great.
Let's go fuck up the fucking dojo.
Fuck these fucking motherfuckers, man. Fucking, Jesus, we're teaching the fundamentals.
We're all fueled up.
I mean, karate's for sissies, for Christ's
I
sake.
mean, we're real men.
It's effective. It's street effective. Doug, you know that. As you know.
As you know,
Yeah.
I know that now.
Yeah.
I mean, by golly, all those kids from the ghetto that come in here, who's teaching who? I feel like I'm learning more than I'm teaching.
It's a real moment
I mean,
there.
it's really got to be street
Come on.
effective. Anyways, let's go fuck up this dojo.
Anyway, you take a brick, I'll take a brick. We break him in half.
And now we got 4 bricks. We can throw 4 of them through the fucking window of the rival dojo. I mean, it's simple as that. What's that about?
Yeah. Imagine Doug Dwyer and your best friend John Timothy Keehan, and then your best friend just goes like,
Hey, I'm a Count now.
I am a fucking Spaniard. I never told you. Jesus.
Oh, I
Hey,
meant
don't
to
tell
you.
anybody, but I think
My parents were refugees. I mean, we had it hard. We had to get the fuck out of there. You know
we're
what I mean?
rich
But
refugees.
we also came from fucking, and we don't want anybody knowing that,
Of course.
And then one day, Dwyer's like, my name is Jacques de Jour. No, you're Dwyer. Come on, don't fool the people.
So
bullshit.
they get hammered and they're like, fuck this guy Gene's studio, right? And
Gene.
yeah, Gene, and they were caught taping dynamite to the windows
I'm sorry, what?
of his dojo. Hammered. They're taping dynamite to the windows.
Just had it.
No, they bought dynamite caps, probably hammered, or maybe they had them.
As you do.
Like you do. Back of a comic book, probably.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a thing there where, like,
Say.
if you're into like power, and
Fucking
fighting
shit up.
Sure,
you might have
yeah.
a few sticks of dynamite.
you might have a
Say, I tell you, I got a couple of sticks of dynamite
this
laying around the back
fucking
of the
thing,
Ford.
You know, if you're talking about like how many cylinders your engine is all the time, you're more likely to have dynamite than me.
Yeah, you don't need to do your Jeff Foxworthy bits here, but I get him.
If you...
Yeah, you might be a sociopath.
But taping him to the window?
Yeah,
I mean, light.
you know, whatever. It was closed. They were just gonna blow out the guy's windows. Whatever.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
It's not good.
It's
But
not
being
good.
drunk doing it and the cops rolling up is real bad.
That's incredibly embarrassing to be caught taping something.
He was charged with 4 traffic violations, which is probably all about being hammered.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Excuse me, Dwyer was. Keehan was actually charged with attempted arson, possession of explosives, and resisting arrest.
Oh, someone narked.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably kept slapping the cuffs off. Probation, 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and probably like, you know, his fucking rich dad came in.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, whatever.
I'll give you guys a couple of free classes. Why don't you come on down to the fucking dojo? We got one of these broads over here. She's cute.
So yeah, before 69, you know, you could have the lion cub. He's doing that. They had a in Illinois, they had a Dangerous Animals Act after 69. So he's doing the cub. You know, he's
Is it because of him?
Yes, not because of the lion cub. It's because of him.
Yeah.
I mean,
My hands are registered as dangerous animals.
yeah, it didn't help. I'm sure. So when he did the bull thing too, that was his signature. That was another thing he stole from Mas Oyama.
Sounds like a Japanese fella.
It was actually I don't know, but they were Mas Oyama was a karate.
Mm-hmm. Karate is Japanese.
I didn't know that.
Kung Fu is Chinese.
Oh,
Kung Fu is Chinese.
So
Karate is Japanese.
the bull killing was.
That's Spanish.
No, that was something.
Now that's Spanish.
Masoyama would do that. It was, and he like stole it and said I can do it, and then just didn't.
Oh, but Masayama would actually kill the
Actually, he did it. Yeah, it was a move or like another publicity stunt to be like, hey, check out martial arts.
There's nothing more martial arts than fucking slapping a bull to death.
I mean, it really changed the whole running of the bulls if you just punch him.
So yeah, it's you know, it's 67. Then he starts wearing the cape. You know, he had a cane, I think, with a lion's head on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it all adds up.
Plus, he's walking a little one. You know, like
This will be you one day.
But here's the weird thing too, and there's just all these little offshoots of like this guy that makes him like the perfect eccentric character for us to talk about, and he had like Dante's House of Hair.
Huh?
What?
Hairdresser.
Oh.
Accomplished. Like very good at it. And people be like,
But not him.
He was?
Him personally. So good. So good. Hold on, Aaron. That he would be flown out to do the hair for the Playboy bunnies. Like,
Just like, you know, I could kill a man with one punch. I don't know about
and
you.
he's like, so he'd like kind of like because his fucking, you know, karate buddies be like, wait, what, hair? And he's like, meet girls. But he also, like, he was talented. Like, he was talented at many things. And one of them was fucking hair.
Dante's House of Hair.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll teach you how to kill someone.
Yeah.
We'll go through the 9 levels of hair.
Oh, very good Divine Comedy joke.
Yep. And so, yeah. He's,
Dante's in Hair No. The ninth circle is the dreadlock.
The ninth circle is the clitoris.
You got to understand that, like, there's just all these different lives going on because this would be around the same time too that he's got like porn shops.
What?
You
Yes.
gotta diversify, man.
He's got straight up porn shops, and
But the portfolio of this man.
bro, it never ends.
He's recession proof, man.
But the thing,
Recession-proof.
but the thing is that like he doesn't really fail at any of it. You know, like he doesn't do the bull thing. That was bullshit. There was one thing where he was going to do the brick trick, and he just broke like 5 bones in his hand.
Oh,
But you know, he just came back to this dude like the next day with just his hand in a cast.
The fuck up
But
his
he
hairdresser?
even said that in the video. Like, yeah, sometimes it does not work.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
But other people did say, yeah, like I saw him do 8 bricks one time. Fuck. So yeah, I mean, the hair thing's going on.
That's amazing.
Like it's all concurrent, like in these late '60s years, with like dalliances with the underground crime world, hairdressing, hard street fighting to the point where Black Belt Magazine is like, we don't cover Chicago because most of the instructors are disciples of Count Dante, and like we're against the way they do it.
Wow.
He
created an above ground underground.
But he also started like the first, mixed martial arts like tournament and competition and stuff.
We'll send our wives there to get their hair done.
Those hands are good for cutting hair.
Plus I do porno shots. And
it's a real twofer.
And then you got this fucking, instructional pamphlet money coming in, which is
printing money.
Yes.
Yeah, and just pure absurdity. Like,
I mean, there must have been someone part of this organization that is like, we have ideas for how to expand, right?
He was
how does he find all of these avenues?
Well, I think there was a thing too where like, you grew up and your mom was in the society pages and you go like, oh, media matters.
Right.
He knew how to like market himself always.
Sure, but also probably through his parents, there's connections to people who are like, media matters, right? Who can offer him these avenues of like, well, here's
yeah, but even just like in that city atmosphere, if you're a colorful enough character, their paper's going to talk to you about you anyway. That was what Trump did.
Sure. Sure.
Stay in the spotlight. Even if it makes you look like a jerk off.
Right.
Are you talking about me or not?
Right.
Yes, you are. Therefore, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there was he was charging $5 for those pamphlets like back then. And that's
how much was the comic book? The comic book was like 70 cents.
Oh, the comic book was definitely less than $5.
Yeah.
The comic book was probably 35 cents.
Dude, I think the first comic books I started getting were $1 in like fucking 90, 89.
Yeah.
So it was pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5. So yeah, he's got it's like there was somebody that saw one of his tournaments and he said it was like amateur boxing and he goes, I'll never cover another one again because it was just brutal.
Yeah.
This
was Golden Gloves. They still have the fucking the hat, the head,
the helmet, the face mask, the headgear.
This is the big.
Hat.
This is the big thing of I think what they like overhype as the Dojo Wars because it was basically just like the dynamite incident.
Yeah, one guy almost taped dynamite to a window.
Yeah, but the second
had a traffic problem.
The second incident, which is the final battle, the Waterloo of the Dojo Wars, was also just one day of some fucking misfit mischief, and there was a guy, Jim Kinsevic, and he was a top student, fought in the street a lot, and
street fighting man.
Yeah, he's a street fighting man.
Stop that.
Yeah, cut it out. Don't.
Stop that.
Yeah, you do that in your free time. And why are you doing it on the street? Yeah, like,
Fighting is bad.
It's terrible.
Why would you want
to? The street's the worst place to do it.
So Keehan, and this probably, I would guess that, the Count was probably always kind of a drinker. That's my guess, is that like a lot of these schemes like that came out, especially the aggro stuff. So him and Jim are like basically like, Keehan wants to go to the Green Dragon Society's Black Cobra Hall.
The Green Dragon Society's Black Cobra Hall.
Yeah.
So many dragons and
colors.
And he's got the Black Dragon Society.
Right. It seemed like natural enemies.
And he's got a problem with somebody down there. And they're trying to like get
these all sound like pot shops now.
Yeah.
The Green Dragon.
So somebody said
Cobra Kai.
So somebody one of the guys he called, Jim was calling, he's like, well, what's the problem? And he's like, it's probably about a girl or something. And he's like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go fight people over a girl that my sensei is into.
Yeah.
What? And so they went down there, and Jim had a couple of his students, because he was already teaching at one of John's other places, but they were like kids. And so there's like 4 kids: Jim, a street fighter, John, the maniac, and he kicks in the door of the dojo. And then there's all these dudes have like throwing stars and like swords and nunchucks and shit. And then
I got a stick of dynamite.
I don't know what to do with it.
Every last motherfucking one of you.
And then they just go in, and everybody was kung fu fighting.
No.
What? Was it a little bit frightening?
No, there's no way anyone would have
it gets real frightening because
the kids kicked everybody's ass.
He said, and he said later, like, oh, we had death threats and blah, blah, blah. And, he went after one of the instructors, and he went for one of his, fucking eye rips. And he just fucked up the guy's eye, where he had to have like a little bit of surgery on it later. Later, he told people he ripped the guy's eyes out.
Which is a weird brag, because that's not something to brag about.
I ripped this kid's eyes out.
I just fucking ruined this guy's life forever. He had nothing to do with me, but he was just
threw
in the
a
way.
star at.
No, he's the one throwing stars.
Yeah, so the Black Dragon Society finds that the Green Dragon Club have all these swords and shit, right?
Oh, great.
And Kinsevic, the teacher for John at another dojo, they were like, oh, he was like ready to go. And then he's doing some shit, and then he just gets stabbed with a sword.
So wait,
at this kung fu fight.
Yes,
him and his Black Dragon Society went to go fight the Green Dragon Society.
And it turns out the Green no, they didn't take their swords.
No, they went to go take their swords.
No. The Black
Green Dragons had
swords and ninja stars and nunchucks.
That's okay. So,
but they didn't take anything. They showed up to a ninja star fight with no ninja stars.
That's what I'm saying. So the Black Dragon Society showed up
unarmed
to take the swords from the Green Dragon.
No, they just had a problem with one guy over a girl.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah,
then they showed up. They didn't know they had swords.
We didn't know this was a nunchuck fight.
Yeah,
yes. And when they got there, they discovered it was a nunchuck sword fight.
And plus, like John had called earlier, probably making threats.
He said, maybe he called earlier and said, "Hey, what's up with
you guys got any nunchuck
swords?" Or?
No, he probably said some shit that was like inflammatory, and then they were like all scared,
and so they pulled out the nunchucks.
And they also knew that John is a badass fighter, so they were like, okay, well, I'll
get the stars.
I'll fight you with a star, you know what I mean, or in nunchucks or a sword.
Katana, maybe.
Okay, so he basically talked himself into a weapon fight without
having weapons.
Yeah, so
he showed up, he got stabbed.
Yeah, and
how bad?
He found out.
He fucked around, found out.
He they just saw blood gushing out of Jim, and then they were like, yeah, he was. They said when he got stabbed, he was using his judo to try to grab the sword, and he just got
more cut up.
Just got cut the fuck.
He tried to submit the sword.
Yeah,
oh fuck!
I better take the eye out of this thing.
So then the Count is like, all right, everybody stop. Right?
It's the moment in the playpen where everybody's like, okay.
Yeah, and Kinsevic is like, he goes, get the fuck out. And his students bounce.
Wait, who says get the fuck out?
Kinsevic with a sword in him.
It says get out?
Everybody get out.
Okay.
Like basically like retreat.
Right.
The jig is up.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Kinsevic?
Kinsevic is his name. His last name. Jim Kinsevic.
That was Keehan.
No, that's his guy. Kinsevic is his guy who is a teacher, who's the guy who's a street fighter.
Yes.
Keehan is the one led him into it.
Yes.
So
he fought, the Count says stop, and then Kinsevic says everyone get out.
Yes.
Right, but Kinsevic is part of the Green Dragon.
Black Dragon.
Okay, so there's been some confusion here, and it might be on my part.
Following right along.
But so
Jim and John
on the same side.
Dante and his teacher were fighting on the same side.
Dante is the teacher. Dante's the main one.
Okay,
Kinsevic is a guy that works for him.
Right, but
as a teacher.
He's not the number 2.
He's the number 2 in this situation.
In
yes.
this situation,
In this
but he's not
situation.
the second deadliest man alive.
No, that's Doug Dwyer.
So he's one of his teachers, but he's not his teacher.
No, but he was just like he
that's
was.
where I was confused because I got the impression that he was.
All right,
his
but you
teacher.
get it now.
Yes,
They're unarmed.
yes, they show up.
These guys,
He's stabbed.
They have fucking start, and then he goes, with the sword in him. He's like, "Get the fuck out," verbatim. Apparently.
Get the fuck out. This is embarrassing.
And then he
You can imagine, yeah.
he like makes it a few paces out and then dies on the sidewalk.
Oh,
The Kinsevich.
Yes, and
That's not good.
There's alternating reports that like the Count was found under a desk there by police, or standing over Jim's body outside.
Well, I can guess who told that.
Yeah.
The second one.
Exactly right. And
there's
yeah.
one conflicting account.
and yeah, and then later, I mean, if you say like you're ripping out eyeballs,
And your friend dies.
and then people are like, no, like there was corneal damage, like you're like my eye.
He scratched the corner.
My eye's still in my head, But
Yeah.
yeah, he did fuck up a guy's eye pretty bad. And people did say like some of those moves were a thing where like because he was drinking and like he would possibly freak out on friends. Like somebody was like, he did one of these hand moves to me where like I felt like he ripped the skin off my chin. Like, you know what I mean? And he didn't, but he's like, it really felt like that. So there was like power there, But
He was the drunken master.
Yes. Well, he was drunken.
so there was a guy that was a cop in Chicago, and the Count was like, yo, man, because he'd passed the bar and become an attorney.
Wait, what?
No. The
cop did.
The
Okay,
cop
now
did.
he was the fucking.
No.
Yeah, I can cut your hair. I can get you out of it.
Get you out of
no.
the jam, rip half your eye out.
Whatever you need.
But this was at a time, too, where you got to realize that, again, with the corruption, there's, especially in the Chicago PD and stuff, there's a lot of overlap with the National Crime Syndicate.
Weird.
So the Count would know this, and he was just kind of like, yo, can you help me, blah, blah, blah. And it's not ever said whether that really happened. But basically, like, the whole crew, Green Dragon, Black Dragon, all get called into court. The one guy that stabbed Jim is, of course, the defendant. But they're all there. And the judge is just like, you're all lunatics. This is a disgrace. Every person here is as guilty as the next. He was absolutely horrified.
What year?
And just gave them a huge dressing down in front of the court, being like, none of this needed to happen. You're all ridiculous. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And just threw it out. It's like everybody here was stupid.
Yeah, one man's dead.
Right.
Yeah, but everybody here is stupid.
Everybody
Was
here.
anybody charged?
No. I mean, no, they were charged, but he just threw it out. He was just like,
The DA brought charges, but the court, the judge threw the case out.
yeah.
Everybody was at
It-
fault. No one was
yeah.
guilty.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a waste of my time.
Yeah. What year was that?
That was 70.
Okay, so that's
70.
right 2 years after
Excuse me,
60.
71. I'm sorry. The incident happened in 70. The court case happened in 71.
So a few years after 68, with the trials of all.
I mean, he's screaming at them. The judge,
You fucking cocksucker motherfuckers with the dragons. What are you, fucking Chinese or something?
Well, there's
Kinsevic, you're Polak. Act like one.
after the Democratic Convention in 68, there's this overwhelming idea that Chicago is being overrun by the crazies, and I can only imagine how this fit into that narrative.
Quite nicely.
Yes.
So Keehan, the Count after this is like pretty like, I fucked up. Somebody's dead, and it's my friend. It's my student. And he offers like some thing like being like, yeah, I was wrong in like Karate Magazine or Black Belt Magazine or one of those. And
Standard place for you to make culpa.
but people would say like afterwards, like he was like, I don't want to fight anymore. And then somebody was like, I saw him in a liquor store parking lot.
Hey, is that a venue? Is that the name of it?
Beating up 2 guys.
No.
And after they laughed at the Spanish coat of arms on his Cadillac.
Oh God.
And then another
God damn it.
another guy was hurt in a bar after he called him a fruit.
Nobody calls me a fruit.
I'm not a fruit, okay?
Your hair sucks.
I'm royalty in exile.
Yeah, like he
If you need any proof, look at my car.
God damn.
Can we do just one more little break? And then I need to piss. We'll be right back, folks. And we're back. So, I said there's a thing about the guy who felt like he was getting his fucking skin ripped off.
His friend, yes.
Oh, with the chin music, the sweet chin music.
Yeah.
And
that
a
was
regular
just,
party trick.
that was just like a thing. It was like, it might have been like a crossword at a bar or something, like a comment that you just,
Oh, okay.
Not like 4 o'clock.
not the crossword, yeah. But it was a thing where like, and then he apologized very quickly or whatever. But this guy was just kind of like, yeah, let's chill, and he was like,
The friend
was like, yeah, let's chill, and he's like, I know, I feel really bad. He goes, I'll tell you what. He's like, why don't you take your gun out and shoot at me, and I will catch the bullet.
That's not the right response at all.
Why don't you? You're right. Let's chill. Take your gun out.
Let's chill
Yeah. You know how I relax?
Catching bullets.
But so he was like,
How did he catch it?
The guy's just got a gun at the bar?
yeah.
It was, 70s.
Well, this is the thing too, is that this guy probably was sort of connected to organized crime.
He was affiliated with organized crime, I remember.
Yeah.
No. The friend was more.
Oh, sorry.
Because he'd be the one having the gun on him.
Right, okay.
And so he was actually his lawyer in the case where they got thrown out.
The guy with the gun.
The guy with the gun that was also affiliated with the mob.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Which if you remember from, I think it's Casino, they were just calling them the Outfit at the time. But that was like the Vegas money and all that shit. It was where the National Crime Syndicate kind of survived best and last was really in Chicago and the places they controlled from there.
Okay.
But Nicky Santoro, who's Joe Pesci's character in Casino and stuff like that, they're all guys that would be coming out of Chicago. But Bob Cooley was apparently former cop, then turned lawyer, then defends this guy.
Brilliant.
And I think he eventually ended up wearing a wire in the 80s and doing state's evidence.
This guy sounds like a pretty decent profile himself.
Yeah.
A chameleon of sorts.
So
Crime chameleon.
he said at some point this might be one of his run-ins with the South Side boss was he whatever he had done something to piss this guy off, and then through this guy he knew, his lawyer that was trying to distance himself from him because he's like, oh, you're crazy. He was like able to get out of it by giving the guy like $25,000, I think it was.
Jesus Christ.
And then he was just like, okay, well, now I'm not going to get killed, But then also, the Count is looking at it like, well, now I kind of like, even though that was a bad experience, I have a tie to organized crime, which he's kind of looking for.
Right.
Which is the same kind of fucking thing.
Street effective.
but also, it's so funny, same fucking thing with Steven Seagal. That thing of like, going up to the John Gotti table and being like, oh, and then they're just like, okay, well, give us some of your movie money, and then he does. It's like, what are you getting out of this?
And cozying up to Putin as well.
Yeah, and being a sheriff, like you just like you're into like anything where you get to flex, like you suck.
Well, the
You suck as a man is why you can't host SNL.
The sheriff thing, he's probably on equal or he's above them in that transactional relationship.
Right.
But with the mob thing, he thinks he's on equal grounds, and he's very much not.
Right.
With the Putin thing, he thinks he's on equal grounds, and he's very much not. But with the sheriff thing, he's probably equal or above them.
Yeah, maybe.
And with this guy making that same sort of equation with the mob, he thinks maybe something will be good, something good will happen out of it. But the mob is like, well, no, we will own you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so there's a thing where this guy, his name's Bob Cooley. That's the attorney.
Be cool.
With the the mob ties and everything else.
It's pretty tight.
He goes, he approached me and was like, if you want to get involved with this thing with me, like, we're going to make a lot of money. And, like, it's a heist.
What happened to the take your gun out and shoot him part?
Yes.
He was like, no.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was waiting for that.
No.
I was waiting for Ozymandias a bullet.
No.
It was just a sign of his instability. Got it. So there's a heist coming up.
There's a heist where they got $4.3 million.
What?
Jesus Christ.
$4.3 million. And they had a guy go in. It was a security company, I guess along the lines of like Brinks.
Okay.
$4.3 million.
Not exactly along the lines of Brinks.
It's very
They just lost $4 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, the one guy that we did the gay porn funded by, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think
they very much bronked.
I think
it
it might be the largest cash robbery. 1974.
Not Lufthansa?
That might come later.
But at that point.
I believe it was.
Yeah, it wasn't so much a brink as so much it was a full-on...
Bronk.
So he was part of this heist?
Armed car heist.
He ended up getting subpoenaed. He passed a lie detector test. But this guy, Bob Cooley, was like, I saw him and... He asked me to get involved, and I was like, keep me out of anything you're doing. And then he's like, and then later on, after it happened, he brought me in and he showed me like a box full of money. And he's like, you think I'm full of shit, but I'm not. And he goes like, also like, he's like, not well. Like he's very high and fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And he had gotten really into painkillers and drinking.
Yikes.
And of course, he still has a girlfriend.
I mean, for that much money.
He's also a licensed pharmacist. Board certified.
Doctor Count.
I didn't tell you one thing. He also had a car dealership.
Of course, he didn't have to.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
I figured.
That's where he did a lot of the hair and drug and...
When they were talking about it, they were saying somebody's slated to appear before the grand jury in the Chicago Tribune. And they say... He is a former hairdresser who wears a cloak and calls himself Count Dante.
Yeah, this guy's a reporter's dream.
Yeah, I mean, for real,
Just every time they call someone to ask about him, they find another story.
Yeah,
He's a former... They don't even mention the karate. They just say a former...
No, nothing about karate.
That should be embarrassing for him.
Yeah, at a certain point, it's like you're making stuff up as the right... Like, you can only add so much detail to the headline or the bio before people go like, what, did you just do an ad lib, like a Mad Libs on this or something? So you have to kind of like be selective with what you mention.
Exactly.
Right.
By the way, he also had a car.
By the way, he also adjective noun.
So yeah, he I think, 2 days after he showed Bob the money, his girlfriend called Bob over and he was dead. The Count had some kind of an ulcer that led to internal hemorrhaging and stuff like that, and he was just...
Painkillers, drinking.
Yeah. And, there's a lot... Because he was just like, oh, like, you're fucked up. Like, you're real fucked up. And, like, still trying to prove things to people that don't care.
Yeah.
He's 36.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He looked like shit.
Well, I mean, he learned... a lot of hairdressing and
hailing all that Aquanet.
Aqualung.
Aqua.
Yeah, it's just,
He's 6.
He was down for the count. He got mad.
Dude,
I'm down for the count. I'm down with the count.
I am too, man. I mean, like, what a fucking lunatic.
Jesus.
What are you
Christ.
doing?
The least interesting thing about him is that he sold pamphlets and comic books. Advertising how to kill a man with one punch.
It really is.
Least interesting thing about him. That's fucking.
But it's what made him famous mostly.
Yeah.
But for most people, that'd be the most interesting thing about him.
No,
Yeah.
no, and by the way, too, also, I would guess
Rich.
there was a thing where at the vault heist, like, he's not there. He's not implicated by the guy that squealed. Those guys got away. They went to Miami with all this money. And then, like, one of the guys didn't have, like, the boat lined up to take him to the Caymans because they were immediately going to go and be like, okay, you know, the cash bank where they're like, yeah, just give it. We don't give a fuck where it came from, you know. And then they actually did get there and they were like, we don't have enough people to count all this money.
Oh, I know a count.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
You got it. Somebody just posted another dumb pun of you on the fucking Instagram today.
A dumb pun of me?
Yeah, another dumb pun
That I made?
that you did in Woody Guthrie episode. It was really funny.
Wow.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice. That's a classic.
Not that dumb.
But, you know, I would say there's other people affiliated that maybe the guy that ratted either didn't know or knew not to squeal on because probably there was involvement with the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So I would bet that before, like, you know, they went to the Caymans, that there was like a bunch of this money that got
Siphoned off.
to other people,
sure.
and I would guess the Count was one of them.
Seems like
That's how we
it.
had the whole box of money thing.
Yeah.
So
But it also seems silly that he felt like he had to brag about it. But that also is him,
Yeah.
right? I guess it's not that silly. It's very much
you got a
him.
bunch of porn shops in a car dealership, and shit's like, aren't you gonna have money anyway? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No. That's why he has porn shops in a car dealership, because he's constantly looking out for things to make money off of, and he's not.
Yeah, but that was also like at a time too where like it would have been still like, you know, porn was like, you know,
He was making money. He,
Yeah.
he had a chip on his shoulder.
Right. Was he making enough money that...
To satisfy his ego? No,
right,
never.
Right. Well, I think
but there was at least, you know, state investigative shit enough to be like, oh, you're getting subpoenaed, we're gonna give you a fucking polygraph, all that type of shit. But what a fucking character, bro.
Dude.
Dodger, great suggestion.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Purple
Dodger.
Cloak, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good.
All of our
Yeah,
Cloak
I mean,
episodes
the
are great.
bull,
Really-
the lion cub, you know.
The hairdressing.
Yeah.
What a
Plus,
amazing
I'm also
twist.
a licensed cosmetologist. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I got a car dealership.
Yeah.
I got some porno shops.
What do I do? Ugh, how much time you got?
What do you need?
What do you like?
Do you need hair, porn, cars?
Do you have hair or like to come or drive?
Yeah. Do you know how to kill somebody?
Just-
ripping their eyes out?
Easy is the human equivalent of opening up the trench coat.
Yeah.
Like 40
I got
seconds.
watches.
Yeah, like, what do you want? Really good, John. Really good Dodger.
Yes. Excellent stuff. Should we wrap it?
Well, no.
You've got something to tease
No,
here.
I want to keep talking about this guy. If you,
All right, well, hit me. Come
All
on.
right. But
Well, I think it's there's the phrase "fail son" that has become vernacular about all these people who their parents are incredibly rich and
Oh, and they need to overextend and like try to be better than them or try to be like valid in their eyes.
I mean, kind of, yeah, but there's this idea of they have the ability to fail because they come from so much money that they don't realize
you have the privilege to lose is something I
privilege
said
to
to
lose,
Aaron
yes.
one time.
not about me.
No, we were talking about people. And
But well, I mean, how nice it is to be able to take a risk, knowing that there is a safety net. In your family.
Yeah,
because
And
there isn't
really,
one
and
in
it's
America.
really not taking a risk. because
Exactly.
The risk is inherently removed by your position.
right,
Exactly.
and therefore you can actually succeed at it.
Yes.
Because you know you
Or you
can't-
don't even have to. You
You don't have to.
you don't have to succeed. That's the term that I think he's getting
Yes.
at is that
You do not, but
Yeah.
also you might not want to ask again. You know,
No,
well, if you have any fucking scruples, yeah.
Yes, but also
There's
so
the people who are perpetual failures.
the beauty of what he was doing is that there was no more embarrassment in failure because there was always an out if he needed one.
But
Sure.
it seemed like in this particular case with this guy, he did not fail.
No.
He didn't. You know, there's a thing too there where you go like, where are the parents in this whole thing? Like, are they ashamed of all this bullshit in the media about their son, especially after he disowns his own name?
We
like,
are in the society pages, damn it.
Well, maybe that's one of the reasons why he changes his name in order to separate himself from them, because maybe they are annoyed
if you're
or
going to change
embarrassed.
the name, at least change it to one of them swarthy Spaniards.
yeah.
Make it sound nothing like you're Irish.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here's some stupid shit, and then he just there's so many different angles. He's like a what's the next level above grifter, where he's still grifting but he's also in charge of the grift. You know what I mean?
He's delivering on his. I mean, he's not totally grifting.
Right, sure.
If you want your hair done, go to Dante's fucking Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, Hugh Hefner is specifically hiring him for a reason.
Well, who said that? Did he say that?
No.
Okay.
That was
the bunnies.
No, that was documented. Yeah, that was real.
Okay.
And
Maybe that was his real
He's
passion.
just
the entire time.
some people, are fucking, they're on Shark Tank, and they're those people like, I invest in the Scrub Daddy, and I invest in the keto ice cream. And well, this is that guy for, scumbags.
yeah,
He's a scumbag venture capitalist.
Right,
he's got his fingers in a lot of pots, and all these businesses are turning a profit. But he also I like to deal with the dregs of society, like by choice, because it gives me a thrill, and he's good at it.
I think it's a lot of fantasy. I think it's a lot of fantasy, a lot of romanticism, a lot of perceived swashbuckling.
Yes.
A lot of people in that time in Chicago would have been like, my heroes are the bad guys.
Right.
So he's gonna want that. It seems like a lot of stuff is about impressing women too. In my whole thing, everything I've gone over, I'm going like, okay, like you're seeing.
Was he a guy?
Even down to doing the hair, it was like, oh, it's a good way to meet women.
Right.
And it's also the thing where again, the display of power and.
Yeah, he would have been a pickup artist.
Right, and this is the 60s and 70s. Today, hair to impress women, he would seem effeminate now.
No, well, I think that's
back then,
I think back then also that was the case. But it said, if you're the one straight guy doing women's hair,
sure, okay,
it's an in, right?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
it's smart, it's nice. Life hack.
Yeah. Also, he would also tell people that career choice was a thing where it freed up time. The way in LA actors do. Like waiting tables or whatever. He was like it accommodates my martial arts schedule.
Yeah.
And
yes, my late night.
And I would also say that after a grueling day of men sweating and beating and bleeding all over you, you're probably
teasing apart a lady's scalp is pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty nice. And then
that's fair. Yeah,
and then you can tell them about how you ripped this guy's eye out last night.
These guys don't get me, boy, girl,
right.
girl.
And it's also a captive audience.
Yes,
so you can be like,
if you got somebody sitting there, what are you going to talk about? Yourself.
Yeah, I was in the IRA. I helped Castro win the war. My family's Spanish royalty. Blah, 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 it's a thing where you can see it's talking to girls, plus they have to listen to his bullshit.
Right.
And
it's nice.
I mean, he was a man about town,
and with a lion,
and especially in that way where like I said, the dudes in Floyd Webb's documentary, when he talks to the people that came up from the black side of town, they're still real into him. They're like
pimp vibes.
Yeah.
But also just he was good to us. He was nice to us. He never treated us differently. Kind of brought us into the karate thing. When maybe we could have got frozen out. There was unwritten race stuff going on, and he's a mysterious fucking little weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, you know what kind of vibes I'm getting from this guy? Like, do you remember Simon? In the from our friend.
Oh yeah. Oh, that really?
Yeah, just like I got my fingers in all sorts of shit.
Interesting.
You know, that kind of he's not a bad guy,
Right.
but there is this thing of
Trying hard.
which is trying hard is fucking cool. Like, believe me, if
It can be, sure, yeah.
yeah, but if you're
If you're doing it.
if you're really doing
if you're actually doing it.
and this guy was doing it, but he. Every layer, every strata of society, of the hierarchy has the tryhards, and even if you're in the kind of mid dregs where you teach people how to beat other people to death, or you sell porno magazines, or you do hair, that strata is still going to have its own hierarchy of people that excel at everything or are really good at it. Mm-hmm. They're showmen, they're hustlers, they're braggadocio type of guys.
Right. That doesn't disappear based on the strata.
Yeah. You can. There's the microcosm in each layer of the hierarchy, I suppose. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, every hierarchy is going to have that person.
Yeah.
Because what they want to, whether they are planning it or not, they want to be at top of whatever that is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
I wonder if there is either a need for attention because of
absolutely.
The affluent parents that are doing all the society shit, and so then you're like, okay, well,
I can't do what they're doing. I'll go into this. I mean, he did the exact opposite of what his parents did.
Did he have any siblings?
There was one, yeah.
Bruce Wayne.
No, they tried to look them up for the documentary, and they found that they had died too. But everybody, I think there was one cousin they tracked down that they even couldn't get a response from. But yeah, I would guess that is that whole weird thing that happens when you're rich and you're like, oh fuck, am I worth anything because I'm being given everything?
Yeah.
And then do my parents take me seriously because they're clearly so important and I'm just hanging with the house staff, or the other guess I have is that it would be definitely something women related.
Well, all of the above, right? I mean, it's not one thing.
No, but just think about in the booklet he calls himself strikingly handsome or something like that. The dojo fight is supposedly started over a woman. He says the hairdresser thing is about talking to women, even getting into martial arts at all. He was just saying something about impressing women. So I just wonder if there was maybe some.
Yes, the answer is yes. If he's a guy. There's straight, but there's that informs everything. It's not the only thing, but it certainly had a role to play. Why not? Of course, sure it did.
He sounds like
along with everything else.
He sounds like a classic guy who's trying too hard.
There's a thing where I think,
but he also did well at trying hard.
Yes, and that maybe made him try harder.
Yeah, and it's also choose one thing.
Yeah.
There's a thing where somebody described having a conversation with someone, and the way they talk to them is if they were really talking to the audience behind them.
Yes.
And it's this thing of still needing to prove things to people
who aren't even there
or care.
Yeah.
But still thinking they do.
Yeah.
So there's just an egotistical thing where you're like, I still need to prove.
Can we just have a conversation?
And people are going you're fine. We don't give
I think I know who you're talking about.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I know who you're talking.
I don't think you do. It's
I don't know who you're talking about, but I have met those people and had those conversations.
We know people that applies to.
All right, yeah. But it's one of those things where you go who's this for?
Who is this for?
Yeah,
that's the question we come back to a lot. Who is this for?
Yeah, and it's a thing the people that don't do that, other people are well, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
And then they don't need to have this thing of like imagining people give all these shits because they don't, like, it's all in your fucking brain, man. Like,
Yeah.
Also, maybe he really liked porno, karate,
And
doing women's hair, tigers.
sure. Lions.
but even at the end, right? Like, you know, just having this guy over that is like, I want to keep away from you because one time you almost ripped my fucking skin off, and he's going like,
Why don't you pull out your gun?
he's going like, you wouldn't do that fucking that heist thing with me, but look, I got all this money. You think I'm a jerk off, but I'm not. It's like, who is that for?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's for the man in the mirror, John.
Well, I mean,
in the mirror.
we can only imagine, like, there's not enough known about this guy, but maybe there was someone in his life that was for, right? Maybe there was someone that his entire life he was trying to impress.
I would
that
guess
he
like
never,
his
never-
dad or something.
Right,
like,
right.
you know.
I mean, it's maybe his dad fucking just never gave him the time of day, and he was always trying to impress his dad every single step of the way, and so that's who it was always for. I mean, that's a, you know, you can write that story, and then that's that's a fictional story with the character. You're like, oh, it all makes sense.
Because even then, like, you go like, all right, well, Marine Reserves, and then also the Army.
Right.
You're like,
right.
who is that for?
Is that verifiable?
Yeah.
How do you? I mean, can you go from one to the other like that? Like, I guess one is just the reserves, and then he went to.
So,
Well, I mean, he really went out. He went for it. I mean, more than any of us.
I mean, you know, whatever. Like, you know, but it's a thing too. You go like, oh yeah, who made that choice and why? Like,
Right.
you know, was
But
it?
I mean, he really went for it.
All of it.
Yeah, he went for everything, and I respect that.
Yeah, sure.
The way everything turned out, well, you know, and the way in which you did it, well, but you did go for stuff.
I respect.
Hey, man.
I respect the attempts, but it's clearly he was looking for
Filling a
something.
void,
He
you
was
know.
always looking for something, and he never found
and definitely,
what that
yeah.
was.
I think, you know, there's a thing too about like the seeking of like intensity.
Yes.
Where it's like, now I got. Hi. There's the thing of like, you know what, the one thing I haven't done yet is get into organized crime. And you're like, why do you need to do
what's on
that?
my bucket list?
And he's like,
After gouging a guy's eyes out with my thumb,
I've got hairdressing and porno shops. Well, you know
Yeah.
what I'm missing is organized crime.
yeah.
I could go back to school.
It's like fucking.
I could go
But
back.
how about the mob?
I could go back to the Marines.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's kind of a big deal in like several like arenas. Mm-hmm. And like, not enough. Gotta add more.
You gotta.
Should we wrap it?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, folks. That was real fun.
It was
That
real
was
fun.
John. That was fantastic.
Dodger, thank you.
fuck off. I
Yeah,
mean,
man. Come on, dude.
I'm gonna say.
Dodgers won tonight.
I'm gonna say goodnight. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
My name is Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Good night.
Starbane's Audio.